Morning, welcome back to the channel. It's a nice bright sunny morning for mid-September, and got a few problems with the pond, or the fish I should say. The Utsuri that I bought from Walker Koi last week, I noticed it was jumping out the pond, doing a lot of flashing, jumping around a couple of times. I was getting a bit concerned that it might actually jump over the jump guards at the front of the pond. Thankfully it hasn't, but last couple of nights it's been sat on the bottom corner of the pond out the way, and just pretty much sitting there moping. Obviously when I come over to the pond he goes off swimming as normal, but when I'm not looking, look out the window and he's down, tucked himself in the corner facing away. Did some water tests and everything was fine apart from the nitrites, which have been over a little bit. Everything else was fine. The only other thing I found was the 3-stage dechlorinator. I tested the tap water coming out of there. I do test it quite regular, but it was showing chlorine, so it meant that the cartridges were spent. So I thought maybe it's down to that. Just move the wife's stuff out of the way. I'm just doing a water test as we speak now. Yeah, so I thought it was going to be down to the chlorine. So I added the sodium thiosulfate into the pond, and I've actually gone to Finch Filtration and ordered myself a big blue. I thought it's about time I got one rather than keep changing these cartridges. So that's going to come in a couple of days. However, since then, obviously the chlorine's been gone out the pond. There wasn't much gone in. It was literally probably a couple of days, and I only topped up a little bit of water, so not a lot of chlorine in there. But I've still got the same problem. Fish sat on the bottom. I've done scrapes, did scrapes last Friday, and haven't found anything at all. The only thing I can put it down to is potentially gill flukes. So what I'm going to do, going to get a couple out, do a gill scrape and see if we can find anything. I'm praying that I haven't got gill flukes, because that's going to be a pain in the backside. I mean, since then I've got a couple of fish that are flashing. There's no reason for them to be flashing because all the water parameters are fine. But I've got a few that are flashing. Can't find anything on normal skin scrape, so I spoke to Rob at Walker Koi last night and he said maybe just try gill scrape and see if there's anything on there. The fact that the Utsuri is sucking and blowing out the food, he's saying it's a good sign that you've got gill flukes. So we'll have a look at that. Water tests at the moment. There's my ammonia. Hardly anything, very slight trace if anything. Nitrite, like I said, very small touch of nitrite, hardly anything. pH is sat at around 7 at the moment. That's because I did a bit of a water change yesterday. Tap water that I've got, it comes out at 6.5 on the pH. So if I leave it and don't do anything with the pond, it pretty much sits at around 7. I have been putting bicarbonate of soda in the pond regularly, but my KH has gone up to something like 12. So I've stopped putting that in now. I'm back down to 8 on the KH. I'm just going to keep doing that weekly rather than every day. Every day I'm just adding a couple of little spoonfuls, but the KH has gone to the roof. So all the water parameters are fine. As I said when I topped up yesterday, sodium thiosulfate in the pond about half an hour beforehand, and then I topped it up, so there's no chlorine in there at all. So yeah, get them out, get a scrape, and see if you can find some gill fluke. In a way, I'll be glad if there is gill fluke, because I know that's the problem and I can sort it, get the pond treated and what have you. And there you go. In a little bit, I've had a couple of comments, people messaging me asking me about my setup, if I could show them how my pond's set up. I might put it in another video, or I'll put it in this one. I'll have a look and see. But I will get round to that. Get the scrape done. Well, I'll quickly show you what I do when I'm getting ready to do a scrape. Excuse the slippers, not long out of bed. So basically I fill up the water here. It's a bit difficult now, I've got the polycarbonate sheet around the pond. To do this, you need to get yourself a waterproof sock. And then we take the net all the way in the door. Finally, Utsuri is running off to the back. The soft ready in one hand. Nice and slow. And just lift the fish so it's still in the water. Just gently bring it towards me. As I say, it's a bit more difficult with the polycarb sheets because I've got to get the handle of the net out the door. And then when I've got it near to, make sure I get a little bit of water in there as well and it's straight in. So you can do the whole thing two-handed, one hold in the net, one hold in the sock. And then all I do is literally lift it out into the water and then just release the fish. He usually goes a little bit mad when he first goes in the bowl, but there we go. Put the sock to one side and there is the fish in all its glory. Absolutely beautiful. So I was thinking, I haven't done a gill scrape before, and I was thinking, have I got to open up the gill plate and get underneath, but it turns out I haven't got to do that. If I just scrape around the gill plate, it should show signs of gill fluke if there is any. So we'll get that done now. So generally I'll get a nice soft card, some kind of gym membership card or something like that. I don't use the glass on the slides because you can cause damage to the fish if the fish does flip. I've just noticed he's actually got a little bit of a scratch on the side. I know he's done that on the side of the pond, but got a bit of a scratch down the side. I'll have to have a look at that later on. But so we're going to run it straight across the gill plate, try and get a bit of mucus on there, and we'll get it straight onto the slide. As you can see, a little bit of mucus, try and get into the middle of the slide. And a bit of water as well. And then just put the slide straight over the top. So you've got the mucus in the middle of the slide just there, as you can see. I'm going to leave the fish in the bowl for now. And we'll go and look on the slide. And that is the microscope that I use. It's just a Bresser, I'm not sure what model it is, but it does the job for me. So we get the slide in there. Switch her on, and then it's a bit difficult to do with one hand, so I'm going to have a look on the slide, and if I find anything then I'll show you guys then. Just a little peek through there. There you go, I'll show you in a bit if I find anything. So there we have it so far. All I can see at the moment on this slide is one, and that's just a normal skin fluke. Keep looking and see if we can find any gill flukes. Absolutely nothing else, just the one skin fluke. Not sure what to do really, because the fish is definitely not happy with something and all the water's fine. No costume, no trick, and just the one skin fluke, which I'm not really bothered about treating. If I found a few more than that, I'd be thinking about it, but one fluke on that is just... I'm going to do another scrape just to be sure. I'll scrape everywhere on the fish pretty much and see what I can find. Let's go again. So folks, done another scrape on the Utsuri, and literally on the whole side flank, the gill scrape, I've done an underbelly scrape, and I found 3 skin flukes, and that's the lot. I've got the little shower out, not the Easter shower, the bigger one. I've scraped that absolutely clean, nothing at all. And there's not even much mucus on the fish to suggest that there's anything going wrong. So I'm not really sure whether to treat for those few flukes or what. I'm potentially just going to give it another day or two, see if they're still sulking. It could be that they're just not feeling it, just feeling a little bit under the weather. Who knows? Doesn't always have to be a reason. Fish can just get sick for no reason, I guess. But the water parameters are fine. I'm happy with them. A few fluke. That's not enough to make him do what he was doing. I don't think so, anyway. And I can't find anything. No gill flukes. I'm going to get the Easter show out, the growing show, and have a look and see how that's getting on. I can't measure it. I can remember what it looks like when I had it, but it hasn't put on a hell of a lot of weight, and that's purely because it doesn't come up and compete for the food. It's too scared. It comes up sort of just subsurface and then sprints off. It's a little bit scared to poke its head out. It does feed now and again. Obviously, you know, it's eating, but I don't think it's not putting on a great amount of size, which is a shame, really. But I'm going to get it out, have a look, see how it's doing, and we'll try and show you on film if we can. So there we have it, folks. That is the Easter show, the growing show from Exclusively Koi. As I say, it's hardly put any size at all. It's put a bit of body on, not much length. Skin quality is lovely, but it's a shame it's not competing for the food. Lovely skin quality. It's got a lot lighter than when I first had it. When I first had it, it was really dark haired. Had a lot of benny on the head as well, which is completely gone. Difficult to see with this light on, but I'm guessing, and this is just a guess, I'm reckoning around 25 centimetres, something like that. But you know, it's still a nice fish. I'm going to keep it, see if I can get it a little bit more confident with the feeding, see if we can grow it on next year. Just get it put back in, try and get a proper look. Nice. So there we have it, folks. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'm just going to quickly run through what's been going on and just ask your opinion. I appreciate if you put something in the comment section below and let me know what you'd do in this situation. So essentially the only things that have changed since I've had a problem with the fish. Obviously I had bought the Utsuri a couple of weeks ago at the koi show. It's been absolutely fine. And I think it was last Friday. What are we on now? I don't even know what date we're on now. 20th. We're on the 20th today, so Friday just gone. Fish literally jumping out the pond a couple of times in the day, jumping out, and done a scrape that day. Didn't find anything at all. All the other fish are fine, no flashing or anything like that. And the only thing that's changed since then is I've changed my food over. I've gone to the Saki Akari multi-season. Just that food now. The Utsuri premium is all gone, so we're literally just onto the multi-season. Whether that can change things, I don't know. Whether that can cause a problem with the fish. I've turned off the blade, as you can see, but we're still having. The blade was fed from the shower basically, so we're still having the shower still on. That's just coming out to the white inlet you can see in the corner, so the blade shouldn't really make any difference other than create a little bit more oxygen in the water. I've turned the oxygen down slightly in the pond just because it was a little bit too violent, and that's the only thing that's changed. And then since Friday I've had the Utsuri sat in the corner down here facing away, just sat there. Last night I noticed that about 4 or 5 of the fish were sat facing the same direction, all just sort of hovering there, not sat on the bottom but just hovering there facing the same direction, mainly at night time. So obviously done the scrapes today, found 3 skin fluke on the Utsuri, nothing on the other fish. So I don't know whether to just leave it a couple of days and just see how we get on. Not really sure what to do. What would you do? Would you treat in this case with just a few skin fluke, or would you wait and see? See that scrape on its side now, it has scratched itself on something. I need to find out what that is. So yeah, would you treat at this stage, or would you just wait and see? Because 3 skin flukes is nothing really, and it's not worth really knocking back the filters. I don't think it is anyway, that's my opinion, but I don't know what your thoughts are. Just give me some suggestions on what you would do. Like I said, there's been a bit of flashing from the other fish, but I've not found anything at all on the scrapes. So, not really sure. Could have been a chlorine issue that I didn't recognise till too late. And it's caused them to irritate, I don't know. Chlorine problem's solved now. Got the big blue coming today or tomorrow from Finch Filtration. So that chlorine won't happen again, hopefully. I think I'm just going to wait. I'm going to sit on my hands, give it another day or two, and see how they are. You never know, they might just put it back up on their own. So that's it, folks. It's only going to be a very short video, just to show you a couple of problems that I'm having and how I sort of get through them. I've got the treatment there if I need to. I've got the LearnX Pro. I've got the LearnX Pro if I need to use that for any flukes, but I just don't want to use it if I don't have to. Feeder's all working fine. That's doing, at the moment, I've reduced the feed a little bit because the nitrites were still creeping over it. So I've reduced the feed. I've got 3 feeds a day, 8, 12 and 4 o'clock, and it's shooting out about 26 grams each time. Before I was filling in every 2 hours after that. So I was doing a 10, a 2, a 6 and an 8 o'clock feed. But the temperature dropped now in the pond. We're down at 15 degrees. So I'm reducing the feed just very slightly. So I'm not filling in those feeds. It's doing the 3 feeds a day. The last one's at 4 o'clock, and then I do 1 feed of 15 grams, I think it is, just one amount at 8 o'clock. And as I say, the water parameters seem to be bang on at that, so I'm just going to keep doing that for now. But water clarity is not great, but all the fish seem fairly happy other than the bit of flashing here and there. But not sure, things just not spot on at the moment. I've had a good couple of months, and obviously this last week or so a few little issues which should sort themselves out, but we'll see. Well happy with the covers all around the pond. I'm not sure it's going to keep it that warm in the winter. I mean, it's stopping the wind chill, but you know, we're still dropping down to 15 degrees. I think I'll only ever know if I didn't have the covers on, I guess, and it's hard to tell. But yeah, at least it's stopping the wind chill and stopping the rain getting in, and I can sit here and watch the fish. So folks, that is all I've got to show you. So I'll just go in the filter house quickly, show you everything in here. Everything's running on. There's the Sakiyakari multi-season that I've gone on to. I'm not sure, I'd imagine it's a good food, everyone uses it. So we'll go with that. What did I want to show you? So we've got the 3-stage dechlorinator. I'm going to keep that on. I've got some cartridges coming for that. But I've also got the big blue coming. It's only a 36-inch one, 36 by 8. Which has got a pre-filter on as well. So I'm going to run the two just to make sure. It's better to run the whole lot than nothing at all, or one or the other. As I said, I've switched the blade off because that was cooling the water down now that the temperatures are dropping a little bit, but it's still running through the blade. All I've done is switch off this tap just to stop it coming out of there. That's still running. I'll probably keep it on through the winter as well because it's covered in here. It's not going to freeze up or anything. What else? Oh yes, the salt meter. I wanted to quickly test the salt. So if you haven't got a salt meter, definitely get yourself a salt meter, a good one. Pain in the ass having to spend, what, like 70-80 quid or something like that just to test the salts, but as you get more and more into the hobby you realise actually we're going to need to put salt in the pond at some point, and you need to know at what level. I think my pond is at around about 0.3 to 0.5. Switch it around this way, it's a bit easier. So around about 0.3 my pond is salted too, and that's what I try and keep it at. So there we go. 0.28 my pond is at. That's because I did a bit of a water change yesterday, or a filter clean I should say, so I'll have to add a little bit more salt as I go along, but I try and keep it at 0.3 and it seems to do alright like that. What else was there to tell you? Nothing really. Glad I got these covers. Not had any accidents since then. These have pretty much saved my life because the amount of times I forget what I'm doing, leave the thing bubbling over, and end up with the media all over the floor. So these things are a great little buy if you haven't got any, worth getting some. Put the covers back on. So folks, that's it. As I said, I had a couple of people ask me about my setup, and they want me to run through the whole pond from start to finish, how it runs, etc. I'm not going to do that in this video. I'll probably do one in a few days time. But for those of the new subscribers or anybody else who's new to this channel, I'm Beza. This is my koi pond channel. If you haven't already and you like this type of video, then click on subscribe, hit the like button, and please share the video. I'd be very grateful. It does help me grow the channel. I think I'm on around about just under 800 subscribers now, so almost at the 1k. So yeah, it's not doing too badly. Well happy with these sheets. As I say, you can still see the pond, etc., and it's great being able to watch them through the window. So folks, as I said, just a little update just to show you a couple of issues that I've been having, but I'm going to get there in the end. If you could put in the comment section what you'd do in this situation. Would you leave it? Would you treat it? Or more investigation? What do you reckon? So again folks, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.